Welcome to Autism Parenting Summit, brought to you by our sponsors. Platinum sponsor, Hardy Nutritionals. For over 20 years, Hardy Nutritionals has helped people improve mental wellness naturally. Their research-backed micronutrient formulas are trusted by healthcare professionals worldwide to support mood, focus, and emotional resilience without the side effects of traditional treatments. Behavior Help. Behavior Help provides positive behavior support services and resources to educate, empower, and enable you to help people of all ages learn positive ways for behaving and managing emotions. Linear Autism Method. When parents feel they are out of options, the linear autism method is proven to increase functional and social behaviors by working with the true nature of children with autism. This naturally reduces anger, meltdowns, and aggression, and allows them to thrive. Stem Cell Institute. Stem Cell Institute offers parents of neurodivergent children the opportunity to address their challenges through advanced stem cell therapy, giving their family the opportunity for a better future, free from limitations. Gold sponsors. Algonaut. Algonaut produces natural dietary supplements designed to support cognitive function and reduce inflammation. Their products contain pure flavonoids and olive oil for enhanced absorption. These supplements aim to help individuals, including those with autism, by reducing brain inflammation and therefore promoting brain health and clarity. Gut Brain Axis Therapeutics Incorporated. Gut Brain Axis Therapeutics is developing microbiota transplant therapy for treating gastrointestinal symptoms and autism symptoms. Autism Parenting Magazine. Join a thriving community of families and unlock the potential of your child. Autism Learning Network. Join a community that understands. Unlock a wealth of resources. Access expert advice, practical tools, and shared wisdom. Silver sponsor. NeuroFree. NeuroFree provides cell infusion therapy for children and adolescents with autism. The therapy involves tissue that was provided by the mother, collected by a plastic surgeon, processed in a FDA-registered lab that complies with FDA regulations, and infused into the patient's bloodstream via a 2.5-hour intravenous process. Bronze sponsor. Mimbleball. Mimbleballs offer pathways for spontaneous parent-child and sibling connections by intuitively creating moments of shared delight, effortless comfort, and restorative calm, easing and enriching family and therapeutic interactions.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Autism Parenting Summit and today's session, Navigating the Struggles and Emotions of Autism Parenting. Today, I'm honored to be joined by Bina Bendale, a dynamic speaker, coach, and innovator with over 18 years of experience as an emergency room nurse. A board-certified nurse coach, Bina is the founder of the Nurse Coach Business Association and the creator of Silent Struggle Solution, a powerful program that helps leaders and teams build healthier, more engaged, and more compassionate workplaces. What makes Bina's work especially meaningful is the personal experience she brings to this conversation. As a mother of 3 children with special needs, she understands firsthand the emotional weight, resilience, and constant balancing act that autism parenting requires. Her work bridges corporate well-being and real-life family challenges, fostering greater understanding, inclusion, and support across all environments. Bina has been featured on NBC Evening News, where she discussed her Supermom CEO event, and she has spoken at conferences such as the SHRM NORCL conference. Her TEDx talk, Creating Sensory-Supported Bathrooms for Children and Adults with Disabilities, highlights the importance of creating inclusive, sensory-supportive spaces that honor diverse needs. At the heart of everything Bina does is a simple but powerful mission to help people feel loved, heard, and supported without judgment. Today, Bina will guide us through the emotional realities of autism parenting, offering insight, empathy, and encouragement for families navigating challenges that are often unseen and unspoken. Bina, thank you so much for being here. We're truly grateful to have you with us, and we're excited to learn from you. Let's dive right in. So, I think just before we dive into everything wonderful that you're going to speak about, I just want to know, if you could give me just a brief summary about your session, what inspired it, and what you hope the parents are going to take away from it.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much for having me. And it's such a blessing to be part of the summit. My name is Bina Bendale, and I am a board certified nurse coach. And I have three beautiful children who are all on the spectrum. And this particular talk came up because when you're taking children with a disability out into the public, it's really challenging to find a restroom that is going to be sensory supported with these kids. And the biggest thing that I've learned about having this presentation is just giving the awareness to not only parents who are struggling with parents with autism, but also to the parents that don't have children with disabilities, and to see like the silent struggles they're really facing, that it's not just a normal typical, when a normal typical child says, "Hey, I have to pee," it's quick, right? It's quick, it's easy. You go to the bathroom and you come back. Whereas for parents like us, it might take longer, or it might take an hour or 30 minutes, because sometimes we have a lot of supplies, which I'll be talking about in my presentation in just a few short minutes here. And what really inspired me was my eldest son, Rohan. Rohan he was nonverbal. He started talking about 2.5 years ago, and he was terrified to go into the bathroom. The noises, the smell, the waiting, all of it, the whole thing was just really, really challenging for us. And we would have to go to the car. And sometimes, if you're at an event, you can't leave the event because then you have to come back in. So there was a lot of challenges that we really faced early on that I didn't know about. And then now it's like I have this vision and this dream where it's like, why aren't we having sensory supported bathrooms where, the lights are dim? I know we have family bathrooms out there, but not all the places, or they're really difficult to find. So now my mission is to have sensory supported bathrooms in all locations so parents like me don't have to leave, we don't have to go to the car, and we're able to enjoy the rest of the day, because bathroom is something that we all have to do.
You can take it away with your amazing presentation. I am so excited to see what you have for us today.
Well, thank you. So my presentation today, it's really about the urge of having to pee. And when we're talking about kids that needs to have to use the restroom, generally, majority of the children are going to say, "I have to pee," or they'll give a sign language, or they'll give a gesture. They give us some vocalization that, "Hey, mom, dad, caregiver, I have to use the restroom." Now, when we're looking for these restrooms, we're generally now, once they have that conversation, a lot of the times it's not easy. It's not just like, "Oh, let me take you and find a restroom." It's more of like, "Oh my God, right now we just got here." Like, and you have to find one that has a handicap. You have to find one that might be on the other side where it's not as, may as not, it is not as crowded, and a place where you're able to really truly be able to spend the time that you need in these restrooms. So a normal typical child would go in, they use the restroom with their mom or dad or their spouse, their siblings, and they come back out. Well, with parents with special needs, it's a little bit more challenging than that. Sometimes it's like going into the Price is Right game, right? A lot of women, especially in our bathrooms, we like to go through the bathroom. I don't know why women do this, but have you noticed this where it's like the first door, they check the door, then they check the second door, then they check the third door? And I remind people, I'm like, yeah, they're all the same. Like they all have the exact same thing, correct? They all are going to have a toilet, They're all going to have paper towels, or they should have seat covers, but somehow some places don't. Who knows? And I'm going to get to this point, and some of them may have the privacy doors. And I mean that with a lock on it or somehow to lock it. Now, there's only one bathroom, which is all the way down to the very end, that has the what we call the handicap bathrooms, right? But what I am suggesting is if that very last bathroom to be sensory supported bathrooms, or to have a separate stall, outside, or maybe that should be put it in a different location for two reasons. And I'm going to explain to you now why. This is my son, Rohan, which I was just talking about in our introduction. He is sensory overloaded. He doesn't like smell. He doesn't like noises, people that are staring at him. Any little thing can trigger him. And sometimes we're not 100% sure what is going to trigger him or what's not. But what I do know is the noise triggers him a lot. Yeah. And when I had to take him to the bathroom initially, he has a G tube. So when I go into a normal, typical bathroom, I have to take all these supplies. Yep, every single one of these. I got to take, and I know this sounds like a Foley catheter, but some people who needs that Foley catheter. I'm taking a diaper bag. I'm taking my wipes. I'm taking a change of clothes. I need a stool because either I have to sit down and help them go, or sometimes like the kids don't have a place to sit because they're not, a lot of the times they have struggles taking their pants on and off. And if they soiled themselves or they're wearing diapers, right? It's really hard to do that. So I have to take all this and then a Lysol wipe because God forbid my son, if it was dirty or anything else, has to be clean, right? So I take my own Lysol wipe so I'm able to clean it. So if he touches the bathroom, I'm not so like grossed out. And then of course a trash bag. So I have to take all of these supplies to go into a bathroom. So imagine if we had sensory supported bathrooms that a majority of this was already present, or majority of this I'm able to bring in without having, the hustling and bustling and walking through the Price is Right game. It's like, it's challenging, right? And so the first thing before I go into here, so I really want to go back to this slide because if we had sensory supported bathrooms, it's just kind of like the Price is Right game. We're not searching for the bathroom. We're not going all the way down to the one handicapped stall. And guess what? Ladies, we like our bigger bathrooms, right? We like the bigger bathrooms. So guess what? As we're going through the Price is Right game, like stall one, stall two, I'm missing this step, I'm losing this step, right? We are now at the very end, and everyone chooses that handicap bathroom. It's bigger, it's larger, it has more space. But here's the thing, when that is taken, it takes away from a child or a mom who has special needs. It takes it away. So now we've collected our supplies, we're going into the bathroom. The children generally hear the first sound, which is generally the hand dryers, right? The hand dryers here, the hand dryers, actually for my son, it sounds like a tornado. So it flips him out before we even get into the bathroom. It's really challenging. Like I have to send him past that, put headphones on, pass him through this just to get past that. That's our first hurdle. Then our second hurdle is the hand washing. For them, it sounds like a hurricane. It sounds like rain. It sounds like anything it sounds like noise, and it's on, off, on, off, on, off, things like that. And it's unpredictable. So a lot of these times with parents with special needs, or a lot of these children with autism, especially for a child that's very high sensory, this is a lot already before we even get into the stall. Now we get to pass another hurdle, which is the toilets flushing. Oh my God, it sounds like volcanoes for them. And unfortunately, every toilet flushes at every different speeds, different lights, different things. And as we're waiting and standing for that large toilet, the large handicap bathroom, which is usually at the very end, we are now sitting in a perfect storm. We're sitting in a perfect storm. And these kids are having meltdowns. They're either cognizant or not, or they want to leave, or they, because we've waited for a longer period of time, they may have peed their pants already, right? So it's a challenge. And this is what we were talking about. You go down, it's all the way at the end. We're passing through everything. And a lot of the times now they've already been triggered once, they've been triggered twice, now they've been triggered 3 times before we even got into the stall. And then not even the touch of smell. A lot of the times people come in and you see a lot of females and or males, they touch up a lot of spray. They'll put potty spray on, or if they're, it might have an unpleasant smell in there, and that also triggers them. So now we also have now triggered all sensories of a child. And usually by this time, a lot of the parents are like, I'm just ready to go home because it's so overwhelming, right? And so these are the silent struggles that I talk about that no one talks about. These are the struggles that when parents with special needs are going in with autism or any other condition, it's really challenging because if we had a bathroom that is able to serve our population, we're not struggling through the whole 5 senses of just using the restroom. And this is when, imagine if a child uses it 1 or 2, 3 different times, this is like 3 or 4 times in a row. And if you have one child, I have 3 children that are autistic. This is my eldest, who we talked about with Rohan, and I have 3 other beautiful children on top of this that have all special needs. So imagine me going to the bathroom, taking one kid at a time, or all 3 at the time, because I can't bring my husband in. Because he's 6'2", love him. He's 6'2", beautiful guy. Oops. But it's like peeping Tom, right? He can't come in because it's like all these women are like, why are you in here? It's like, he's just trying to help me get a child in and out of the bathrooms, ladies. Like, we're not trying to do anything more than that. Autism is on the rise. As the CDC has said, 1 out of 36 children are going to be diagnosed with autism. 1 in 36, which also means 1 in 36 parents are going to have a child with disability or autism. So I know a lot of times people are focusing in on the statistical values of the child, but I also want to bring awareness to there's 1 in 36 chances of an adult having the struggle, newly diagnosed. They're still unsure of what to do. They're still fighting IEPs. There's a whole enormous amount of stress that comes along with it. And here are some examples that I kind of co-created about what sensory supported bathrooms can look like, where we have the visualizations of a bathroom with the light blue lights, because how many of us kids with autism, white lights, they don't like them. It's really challenging when it's a white light. They do better with light blue, light green, light orange, it's sometimes even light red, depending on what sensory they're on. Having some sort of like calming nature into that. A lot of autistic children like to gravitate towards water. So it's like, well, then why don't we put in a visualization so we come up so we are decreasing the stimuli before they even get in, or at least we're able to make it a better experience for them. And then the other one that I put here is an adult size changing table. A lot of these kids that are getting older, they're getting comes up, they do need that additional support. I can't keep carrying around a stool everywhere I go as my son is now 11. What is he going to do when he's 18, 19, 25 years old? I mean, like, there's only so much I can do, and the stools are not going to go. So we do need a commercial grade, changing table in there so they are able to, if they were to make a mess, they're able to, change their clothes on their own, or the parents can help, or they have enough space to put all their supplies. Because I think that's the other problem, is that there's a lack of space and supplies, because a handicapped bathroom in a normal typical bathroom right now, all it is just extra space. There's no stool in there. There is no support in there. There's no chairs. There's nothing else in there besides a toilet and bigger space. And I'm still having to put chucks down and carrying everything. So can be very, very challenging. And so The other thing I said, which I'm a dear proud parent of, or a proud person for, is think about it in the late 2000s or the early 2000s, we made a very, especially here in California, we've already made massive changes in the LGBTQ community, where we have gender neutral bathrooms throughout the world. We have family bathrooms. They're hard to find, but they're there, you know. And majority of the time, these family bathrooms are taken by people that may or may not have a disability, and they're amazing. But they still have all the loud flushing, the lights, and everything else that we've spoken about. And then we have the regular bathrooms. So why can we not develop a sensory supported bathroom as we've already came? It's 2026 now, as we've already developed majority of the stuff. All we're asking, or all I'm asking for, is let's turn the lights down a little bit. You know, let's put a sensory, let's have the toilets flush silently, right? Different things that come in. So we all are totally inclusive because as we've been inclusive with, you know, the gender neutral bathrooms. Here's my family of five. They're loving, but it can be a very big challenge when I have to take all three kids to the bathroom. A lot of the times, as we all know, the men's bathroom, I don't know why, but it's dirty and it's yucky, and I don't want my kids going in there. A lot of the times, I'm faced to do this alone. A lot of the moms are in there taking the kids in, coming up. So you imagine all that sensory to go with each individual child, and I don't know which child is going to be triggered. And by the time I walk out, trust me, I want to go home. I'm already wanting to leave. And you know, and this is like for museums, um, movie theaters, like there's uh, amusement parks, games. I mean, I think there's so many different places that come. You have a hard time finding these, you know, bathrooms. So when a normal, typical child has to say, I have to pee, it's quick and easy. It's not, generally, it's not something that's out of sight, out of mind. You just go on with your daily life. But when a parent with special needs says, and their child says, I have to pee, usually it comes with a little bit of frustration. Usually comes in with a little bit of, oh my God, right now we just got here. Or again? We just did this because remember, we have to take the supplies. We have to go to the bathrooms. We're going through all the different emotions, and then we have to come back out. And then imagine going to whatever activity we were doing. Now that we self-regulated the children back, we have to remind ourselves as adults or as moms and or dads or caregivers that we have to self-regulate ourselves too, you know, in the process. We're frustrated, you know, a lot of the times people would like state, hey, Bina, why don't you just put headphones on your kids and then send them in? Yeah, until they decide to take it off and throw it in the toilet. You know, like a lot of the times these kids are just throwing stuff, correct? And I've done this, and my kids have silencing headphones, and they threw it in places I didn't want to touch it. And it was really frustrating because I then had to not only take it out of a place that I didn't want to go, I then have to clean it. And then it is, you know, I don't want to put that back on their face. So the sterilization process is also very challenging. Um, so the whole point of this presentation is to really provide parents and for companies and whoever else is seeing this is that going to the bathroom is a necessity thing. And let's make these as less challenging for the parents and more rewarding for the children as much as possible. Thank you.
That was amazing. So interesting. Wow. I commend you as parents for, I mean, just that bravery. I mean, that part where you said you've got to touch things that you don't really want to touch, and at the same time, you can't put it back on your child's face because you're like, okay, now you have to brave out a possible meltdown as well because now, you know, a lot's gone wrong in the bathroom, and you're like, okay, I think it's time to go home now.
Yeah.
I think you're doing a beautiful job, though. Three very beautiful kids as well. Um, so Bina, we are gonna dive into our questions. So I think my first question for you is, As a parent, how hard is it to travel with a child with autism?
Oh, it's challenging. Um, like I said, there's not a lot of very many autistic friendly airlines. There's not a lot of autistic friendly places. They're getting better now. There's a lot, it's gotten better over the past couple of years, but I think we can do a bigger stance around this because traveling alone with normal, typical children is challenging itself. But keeping a child that has lack of anticipation, that has lack of awareness, that has lack of self-control, and there's things that when you're traveling that are out of your control, it really makes that child it can have a meltdown, right? It triggers them and it can have a huge meltdown. And for a lot of the parents, it's like a lot of other parents that are or bystanders might not understand it. They're just like, why can't you control your child? Or on an airplane, they're like, he's so loud, or can you control it? And it's kind of like, I'm trying my best. And if we're on the runway and we're supposed to take off and now we're on the runway for an hour, hour and a half, yeah, it's gonna alter the routine. And so I think there's just a lot of lack of empathy around a lot of places. And, just to have that traveling in general is just challenging because of individualized sensory issues too.
Yeah, yeah, I totally get that.
Yeah.
I think my next question would be, as a parent, I know you did mention this, but how do you manage the bathroom situation like now? Because I'm sure in the beginning and like now, yeah.
It was hard. It takes practice. It takes a lot of practice. Like the number when I first started, we had to pack that bag and it was a challenge, because we packed this bag, everything had to be in its place. And then remember when I'm in the bathroom, I'm just taking everything out because it's like the kid needs to pee or my son initially he doesn't like to be dirty at all. And then if he peed his pants or his diaper leaked, then I have to change everything. So, and then you have to restuff your bag. Like it's hard. You imagine packing and unpacking like 2 or 3 times a day. It's hard. It's a lot of work. And,
Mm,
and granted, it's a lot of weight too, right? And so, what we've learned ahead of time is one, packing the fish effectively, and then having multiple bags. So we would then call ahead, we put them in lockers. A lot of the times, like certain places have lockers, but here's the problem is not everyone can afford those types of stuff either. It's very cost effective, right? So initially, it was a challenge. Like when my kids only wanted to go with me, or my husband can't come in because he's a tall, very handsome 6'2" gentleman. So if he walks in, like the ladies are like, "What's this guy doing in here?" He's like, "Dude, I'm just trying to get my kid. Like all I'm trying to do is help my wife, with 3 kids." Because it's like you get one, and then the daughter's going underneath, and it was a full challenge. And I think for a lot of parents who are hearing this, it does get easier because you develop a system that works for you. And once you develop a system that works for you, it does become easier. And what I do suggest is if your child does have the sensory issues that my children did, is start working with your ABA, your therapist, whoever it is, and start utilizing those noises, like so they can get a little bit more desensitized to it throughout. But it's also a challenge. It's a huge challenge in our house. So what we did initially is we would play a game with, flush the toilet how many times in our house, you know? Um, we would change the light bulb so it's bright, bright, bright as if it was like outside, right? So it's like we try to do things that are in our home that is going to at least help with the outside situations. Um, but all my bathrooms in my house are sensory supported now. So we have blue lights, we have green lights, we don't have the white lights, we have soft things, we don't have white walls. Our toilets are silenced. And we do have a lavender and eucalyptus smell into our bathrooms because that's what they like, right? It's a calming thing for them. So now, um, honestly, I just put like eucalyptus oil on their noses. Like, or put lavender oil on their hands, you know. We just try our best. Like it's hard still. It's still a challenge. It's still a challenge. There's no going around it, but because I've done it so many times and they have that familiar fit from the eucalyptus from our house or the lavender on our hands, that does help a little bit. Yeah.
So like a good routine. Well, I don't want
Mhm.
to say routine, but just something that they know and they can feel that, okay, this is home, this is safe.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
something that's for them that's safe. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's amazing. Um, I think my next question would be, what advice would you give other parents struggling with a similar situation or similar situations to perhaps what you've been through with your kids?
You're not alone. If you're going through this, you're not alone. If you're, and um, don't let anybody else tell you what you can and cannot do. Like, even now, if my husband has to walk through the women's bathroom and he has to grab one of my kids, he'll just walk in and grab them. You know, it's just let go of the social stigma. Let go of what other people are going to say. Let go of, oh my God, these people are talking about me. Let them talk. They're not coming home with you. So who cares? Only focus on whoever you go home back with. Focus on that. And if there's the other thing I have done previously is I used to take a small little potty chair, like, those little portable potty chair thingies. And I just let my kid go like in a corner somewhere if it was too sensory. I would ask the staff or someone like, hey, I'm gonna go outside real quick. And they're like, well, I was like, well, he's gonna pee. We're not going in the bathroom, but we're gonna do it here. You know? You gotta do what works for you. And don't let anyone else state that it's socially unacceptable because autism is not socially unacceptable. So you do what works for you and don't let anyone else tell you otherwise because it's already challenging with sensory issues. We don't need any more negative impact from other people telling us what we can and cannot do.
Yeah. Everything else becomes noise. You need to worry about.
Yeah, just remove them. Remove all the noise.
Yeah. Um, so I think my next question, if there was sensory supported bathrooms everywhere, what do you think what would that solve for you? For you, for other families as well that are going through the same thing or have the same concerns.
They can travel.
Yeah.
Like they can travel, they can enjoy a museum. They're able to enjoy the small little break, that they can get. I think this will help traveling for a lot of places, for a lot of parents that are struggling with this because just a real question, even for you, Lily, when was the last time we really see children with disabilities in public bathrooms?
Hardly ever.
Right. Do you see parents walking around with their children that needs wheelchairs, like that has a wheelchair or anything that's going into bathrooms? I mean, I'm a nurse and still to this day, it's really challenging. I don't see it often
Yeah.
because it doesn't support them. So imagine for if we can have a world where this 1% of the entire world's population is included. Just like how we include gender neutral bathrooms, the Boy and Girls Club, all these different things. 1% of the entire world's population is autistic. 1%. So if we can include these sensory supported bathrooms, that 1%, which I call the forgotten 1%, is able to have a sense of normalcy. And I say normalcy, which is whatever normal means for people. But I think like this will just help them get out of the house. This will help with the lack of isolation. This will help with socialization. This will help with, the interaction and this will also help with the community understanding that they just need special attention. They're not different. These kids are not different. They just need a little extra support. And so it's like, why not give it to them? And it's not like it's going to cost people a lot of money. It's already structured in. So why not utilize it? Why not just make the bathrooms all sensory? It's not that much of a difference. Like I always tell people, and I may or may not, this might get bleeped out, I'm not sure. Okay. Just letting you guys know. If we can silence a gun, we can silence a toilet. Just saying. Okay.
That
There
is
is a
so
way to
real.
do that.
Yeah.
If we can silence other things that are loud, why not? Because we have to urinate, we have to defecate, we have to use the restroom. It is a normal bodily thing that people just take for granted. And it's a challenge. Imagine I had to take all that supplies. I still take all those supplies into a bathroom. And then I'm, carrying a 15, 20 pound backpack on. It's hard, is all I'm saying. So if we had sensory supported bathrooms and you're able to take half those supplies, and I'm not saying you still have to take all of those supplies, you might have to take all of it, but at least you have a clean place where the kids are not having a meltdown and the entire family is able to go and you're supported.
Yeah. And I think support is a big thing. Feeling supported is a big thing, not just by your family, but by community as well.
For the community. And I think a lot of the times people forget that when we're in these normal bathrooms and you have a bolter, if my son likes to run off and I got 3 kids, like I'm chasing them in 3 different directions, you know? So if you have a sensory supported bathroom, at least I'm able to go in and it's confined.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, I think my second last question. How do you personally cope with the constant need to plan, anticipate, and stay one step ahead as a parent? And what happens when you're just exhausted? I mean, you are a human, you get tired, you're momming hard, but you know,
Yeah.
how do you deal with all of that?
Well, when I do go out, I make a spreadsheet of everything I need. I think having a list of things that you need is key. um, Making sure that your children's routine or whatever I do, my children's routine is not altered as much as I can't not alter it, right? So we try to keep it as consistent. And what I mean by that, if my kids eat at noon, we're eating at noon. Like I'm not changing this. Oh, grandma's with me. It's okay. They can wait 30, 40 minutes. No, 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 honey. We're eating at noon. Like it's noon. It's time to eat, you know? Like I really make sure that if we're out and about or if we're at different locations, that we stay on their schedule. So any adults that or anyone else that comes with us, it is on kids' schedule or on that particular child's schedule. I think that's the biggest key. And having those clear agreements with whoever comes with you, it's very clear agreements that, hey, I understand that we might be stopping every 2 hours for food. If this is not something that you're okay with, then you guys can go somewhere else while we're feeding the kids or while we're doing this, but this is where we're going to be. So it's very clear and understanding with whoever's with you so they don't feel like either they're being slowed down or their expectations wasn't met. Because I think that's a huge deal. A lot of the times it's like, especially with grandmas and grandpas, like, it's okay. They'll be fine. It's only one day. No, that one day is a whole week for me. You know, that one day is a whole week. So I think like that's the other part is like have those clear cut crystal understanding with whoever you're with that just because we're out doesn't mean that we're not out of routine. We stay in routine as much as we can. And then what was the second question?
What happens when you're just exhausted?
Listen to your body. Listen to your body. If you're tired, you're tired. Take sleep. I'm a firm believer in self-care. I'm a firm believer in you have to fill your cup up first. You cannot give from an empty cup at all, and you can't give from a half empty cup either. And I know it can be extremely challenging to get childcare and extremely challenging to get help with these children. And if you can, this is where I say the community is a big key part because if parents, grandparents, siblings, a sister, brother, a best friend, whoever it is in your inner circle, if they can give you, even if it's a 2 hour relief, take the relief. When I'm fully exhausted, I had a hard time initially asking for help because I didn't know what help looked like. They're like, "What do you need help with?" And I'll be like, "I don't know. I don't know. What's help? What's help? Like, what's help?" Right? Like, it's really challenging. Like, it's really, really challenging. Whereas now, someone's like, "What do you need help with?" I'm like, "Can you do the laundry? Can you do the dishes? Can you make me a meal and bring it over? Um, can you watch my kid? They're asleep. I'm gonna go for a walk." Right? So I think it's really for parents that have special needs and then parents that are non-typical or neurotypical. And when family is asking, sometimes we have to remember that they don't know, they're trying their best to understand our world and they just don't know how to help if we're not communicating that to them. So I think that's also a real big thing. So when I'm exhausted, my kids are a little bit older now, but when they were little, I slept when they fell asleep. I still fall asleep at 8 o'clock. Like, I still fall asleep. I'm 42 years old and I still am like, everyone's like, "You're going to bed by 8?" Yeah, because I'm tired. Because as a lot of people know, kids with autism they don't sleep well. They're up at all hours and they think there's a party at 2 or 3 in the morning for whatever reason. And then they're up for the whole night, for the rest of the day, which also means mom and dad are also up sometimes. So the exhaustion is real, but ask for help. And when you do ask for help, ask for specific help. And don't be shy to ask to help them to do your dishes, your laundry, vacuum, you know, watch your child when you go for a walk, just to go to the grocery store and come back so you don't have to take everything with you. Yeah, be specific because it's hard. It's a challenge to do.
Yeah. Support is a big thing.
Hmm.
Yeah. Okay. And my final question to you. What has autism parenting taught you about resilience? Not just the inspirational kind, but the quiet, everyday resilience parents develop over time. What do you think are your lessons? Because every day is a lesson, right?
It is. And every day is brand new. You never know what's going to happen. I think that's the beauty of it is you take the small things. A lot of people take the small things for granted. And I think a parent with autism, we don't take the small things for granted. It's the smallest things that thrives us. I remember when my son, he was nonverbal for the longest time, and then one day he wakes like obviously with a lot of therapy. Um, he said "mama" for the first time, and I remember standing there like with disbelief, like what, what, like is this real? And I think it's the small progressions that we see, right? It's the small connections that we're seeing. It's like, oh, he made eye contact with me for more than 5 seconds. That's a huge win in our world. Or he pointed or he gestured or whatever the situation is. It's knowing that, and I think for me, it's understanding that non-communication, that non-verbal communication too, right? It taught me to slow down to the tempo of them and letting the child choose when they're ready. There's no pushing. And I think that was a big challenge for me initially. It's like, he's not crawling, he's not walking yet, he's not doing this yet, like all these milestones. And a child with autism, they have their own milestones. They're going to do what they want when they want. And I think that going out of that box, and that was really challenging for me, but also my biggest blessing. Because when someone asks me what's normal, I don't have an answer. You know, I don't have an answer. When people, and I've been a nurse for 20 years, and people like, "Oh, well, they're not hitting the milestones." And I'm like, but who created these milestones? You know, yes, I understand it's researched and evidence-based and all this stuff, but My son started talking at 9 years old. He was potty trained at 11. Great. But guess what? That's a big win in my world. And I'll take that. And I think that's the biggest thing is not losing hope and just knowing to go to the speed of their tempo is the biggest thing I've learned is that's the biggest thing I've learned because every day is new. You never know. One day they wake up singing. Who knows?
Thank you so much, Vina, for this valuable session. Absolutely enjoyed it. And I just want to say thank you to everyone for joining us today. Be sure to check out more of our sessions for the coming days. We have many, many more inspiring presentations and interviews with both experts and voices from across the spectrum.